Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with Good Morning Portugal show and podcast, and it's time to speak to Heather Binder with a bit of a Binder reminder this morning about how to prepare for the recent apagão, the outage that we had a couple of days ago. However, it's like nothing ever happened. I wonder how it was for Heather. Let's talk to her now. Hola, bon dia.
Bon dia, bon dia. Good morning.
Is it the same for you, Heather? It's like nothing ever happened.
Not exactly, because I think every one of my clients, no matter how far out their visa, their move is, like they all were like emailing me. So
saying, what is it with this country that we're
but all the power's off and everything, you know, and so it's just so it's been a busy couple of days trying to catch up from Monday's complete and utter outage. So yeah, it was different, that's for sure. We did do some different things, absolutely. When all that went down, and you know, because I thought it was going to be days before they had power up.
Okay, I've got a number of questions for you. I'll come back to your clients and what they were asking. But isn't it interesting how many people did think it was going to be for a number of days? Why was that, do you think?
I thought it because it was such a large, you know, it was like the whole country plus like
and Spain,
and you know, which Spain's kind of huge. And so that, I mean, first of all, I didn't know what it was, which because it was like Spain, Portugal, parts of France, parts of Italy. I heard Ireland was out. You know,
Switzerland,
Germany, Italy, Andorra, you know, and so I mean that doesn't make you think it's something from the weather in Spain. You know what I mean? It makes
rain
you
in
think
Spain. It wasn't the rain in Spain.
Okay. No, you think, oh, this is it. They're, you know, this is the cyber attack and, you know, that sort of thing, which is not a crazy thought these days. So hopefully that's not actually what happened. And I mean, they got it back on so fast.
We don't know, do we?
We know the story we're told.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I buy it though. It's like this temperature and who is so stupid to design this so literally.
Yes.
We're all that connected. I mean,
and
I mean, we are all, as in like not just one country, you know, but like the EU does a lot of interesting things.
And the theory you're talking about is the temperature differential that caused a fire or a surge and then brought the whole thing down.
It was some surge related thing is what it looked like. And then they kind of said it was like blackouts, meaning like sort of on purpose to rebalance the system. You know, like I know anything about that, you know. Yes. So it's just kind of like the dog ate my homework, you know. So who knows?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So interesting. And then presumably your clients who are keen to move to Portugal are hearing about this on their own news networks back home. Like the whole of the country and its neighbor, Spain, have been plunged into darkness. Possibly, well, actually, to be fair, it wasn't darkness because it was daytime and it was a beautiful sunny day. But
it was a beautiful sunny day.
Metaphorically plunged into darkness. Were they asking things like, and I don't mean to pry, but just generally speaking, is like, what's going on over there? We're thinking of moving to this country. Does this sort of thing happen all the time?
No, I didn't get that question once. Okay, I think the reason like everybody and their brother emailed me, which is perfectly fine. That's what I do, right? Yeah. But I think the reason was simply because it drew attention to Portugal again. And so everybody's thinking of moving here or is in process of a visa relocation. Of course, then they come up with a question, you know, because it was their normal Monday and they were doing whatever. But it was kind of like, you know, scratch this itch over here. So everybody had some sort of question, but most of it was, you know, about the background check and the apostille thing is
That's
enough drive
amazing.
people crazy.
I find that quite interesting, because if I was thinking of moving to a country and it was in an outage, a whole country outage, I would be asking, do you know what's
I would
going
be
on?
asking, yeah. Have you experienced this before? Like, this
Yes.
is kind of weird, right?
Yeah. But we had a remarkable recovery, and as you say, people suspected it might be for days. And I don't know where that prompt came from. It might be something to do with some of the EU EC saber rattling just recently of prepare for 72 hours of some sort of emergency. Was that part of the priming, do you think?
I think for me, it's like, you know, like the last outage we had here. I mean, we were out for just as long, and
Yes.
it's like, and that was just our little area,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, well, if this is the whole freaking country, then yeah, everybody that can work on it is working on it, but it's going to take time. And also, I'm an hour out of Lisbon, so it's not like I'm in Lisbon or in Porto or something like that either, where it's like, oh, this is the first place to restore power. I know we actually got power back faster than like Cascais, Leiria. I don't know where else, but I know we actually got power back. I think it was 6 hours, something like that. And now that was funny because my husband and I are sitting there on the couch talking to each other, and and all of a sudden,
that's not the funny bit. Although
not the funny bit, no. But all of a sudden, because we were just looking at each other at that moment, all of a sudden the mini split unit, which is always my telltale sign that the power is back, goes, it makes its little noise. And we both just had this look of excitement and like, oh, the power's back on, we can watch Andor, our Star Wars show.
The mini split unit is your air conditioning heating unit, is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I did hear that, like I heard in Leiria, I heard in Lisbon, other places that like people could just orally hear the clapping and all of that of people just being excited to get their power back, which makes sense. But that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that was quite extraordinary. I was out walking my dogs and I heard a funny little noise, and then I saw a security light come on, funnily enough, because I think that gets triggered as soon as there's a surge of power, and then another sound, and then everything came back on. And I'm quite a long way from large numbers of people, so I didn't hear the cheering, but that was quite special when people were cheering, and a bit odd as well. It's all been a bit odd, hasn't it? Really, what's gone on, and I'm not sure we'll ever find out.
Since when, really Carl?
Well, that's true. That's true.
I think we can roll it back. Maybe March 2020. I don't know.
Yes,
it's all been kind of weird.
The new normal, the abnormally new normal that we're dealing with, and that's a global thing. It's not a Portuguese thing, but this was very much a Portuguese thing. However, you come from a different culture where presumably you've had to have been prepared in the Arizonian desert, I think. So what were your prepping skills, or I'll call them preparedness, because I think prepping means something different in America, doesn't it?
It can have a weird connotation for sure. Yeah. Survivalist, prepping. I don't care what you call it.
Were you doing that though?
I didn't run out of toilet paper. Let's just put it that way. So
okay, so you're not basic or intermediate. It sounds like you're fairly advanced in these matters.
Not advanced. No. Advanced people like.
Oh, okay. They've got a cellar.
Advanced people do. Yeah, they do some serious things. I would say I'm just wisely paranoid.
Okay.
Here and there.
So you were ready for such an occurrence.
Well, one of the things I do, I think big picture, and with my job is to reduce risk and to do things to avoid problems. Okay. Right. And in real estate, that when I lived in Arizona and did that for 25 years, it was avoiding problems. So it was keeping things smooth. So I kind of think that way. And for me, it's like, okay, do I have a little bit of stock of pet food? Do I have a little bit of stock of people food? Do I have water? These sorts of things. And so that sort of stuff I already had because I have a huge garage basically. And so I have enough storage space that, we've bought like the flat of garbanzo beans and like stuff like that. Although my husband, I found out through this, so this was a good test.
Yes, I want to know what you discovered as well. Yeah.
So he loves ramen. Okay. And we had bought like a whole flat of the ramen.
Yeah.
And just to, you know, because that's like, will never go bad sort of thing. And it's a good emergency kind of food. And yeah, the box is empty. So he's been slowly over a couple of years eating our emergency supply of food. I know we had something else too, which is gone. Oh, I know we had beans. We had like a can of other beans, like baked beans or something. And then, but he doesn't like garbanzo beans. So, which are chichi beans. I don't know what you call them. Well, so we have like.
You've taught me something. You've taught me something about this.
Yeah.
Garbanzo beans are what we call in Portugal a grão de
grão.
bico. Or chickpeas, basically.
Chickpeas. Right? There you go. There you go. So I love garbanzo beans. And yeah. And so we have a whole lot of those, which are good. They aren't going to go bad. You can eat them, you know, like in the jar, they're cooked or whatever. And so that sort of thing. But I know we had other stuff. We had granola bars and whatever. So anyways, I need to restock my food supplies.
Especially ramen.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing is that I put a little bit of water in the bathtub, but then I remembered that I've been storing the big water bottles, you know, a couple liter water bottles in my garage because I've been like, oh, I should have like 10 of these filled up for an emergency, just sitting in the garage because why not? And so I had to go down to the garage, grab those, and then actually fill them, which I hadn't actually done that part. So I got them filled and they're in storage. So there you go. So, you know, because to flush your toilet, you need water to, you know, if you can't flush your toilet,
create a flow. Yeah.
Right. And all of that. So yeah, so I did those basic things. And then I do, of course I got like the flashlight out.
Hold on a minute.
Little stand.
Let's just have a look at that. Okay, so that's your portable light for taking.
Yeah, well, it's nice because it stands, so I can put it, you know, on the coffee table or whatever, and it stands there. Tea lights.
Oh yeah. Okay.
My magic lighter.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then.
Thank you for being so prepared. It's a show and tell this morning.
I know. Yeah. And then I have this, which is I don't know what you call this.
Hold on, is that your shortwave radio?
It does have a little radio, actually, but it's got a little solar panel.
Really? This is interesting.
And it has a flashlight.
Oh my word! Okay.
And it has the coolest thing. Oh, okay. It has an antenna. And then the coolest thing that I think it has is it has a power bank with its the USB, and then kind of the old school, one of the old school, whatever, doodads, charger ports. But we all have one of those around. So this, I can charge my phone from this. And the cool thing with this, everyone's going to buy these now. I should have bought stock.
You should, definitely. Or invest in the company. Is it a wind up as well?
Yeah, well, that's how you power this thing up.
Here we go, everybody. We're winding it up. Let's see if there's a surge in the grid.
And actually, this was a good test. My lights
just got brighter. Keep doing that a minute.
You can see there's a little red light.
Right, okay, yes. Oh, my goodness. Right, okay.
Yeah, but then, like, when I turn the light on, see how much brighter that is?
Okay.
Than it was a minute ago. I don't know if you noticed that. But, yeah, this sucker, like, charges.
And it's exercise as well.
It is good exercise. There you go. So I can, you know, it was a good test because it took me a minute to figure out how to get my phone to charge with this because technology's changed since I bought that. I bought that in 2020 with COVID and everything going on. I was like, because I lived in Phoenix, didn't know how things were going to be affected. And I was like, okay, you know, I'll have a couple of things that make me crazy. That's good. But you know, that's handy, especially like even if you just go camping and you want to charge your phone or you need the flashlight. And then this takes batteries. which is another excellent thing to have on hand, is double and AAA, in particular, batteries.
Okay. And then that's charging the battery, which would then give power to your phone as well.
Yeah. It can charge, and you got to connect the phone, with the cable and everything. But it was nice to kind of have a dry run, So yes. I think that's how we need to look at this. Like, okay, let's say that happens again, and it does last days. Are you okay? Because my husband, he grilled out actually. He's got a rooftop terrace, and he grilled out some burgers and stuff like that. And you know,
his alpha male tendencies came to the fore.
Hunting and gathering, yes. Yeah, he did feed me, so that was nice.
Wow, and sexy too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And my grill downstairs, the gas is empty, so now I know that. So I got to get that refilled, So it's like good little things.
Lessons learned.
Yeah, good little things that's like, oh, okay. And then I went to visit my dad in assisted living and made sure he had his flashlight.
How did they cope with it generally there?
They had the gates open, and normally they keep them closed. And the doors were locked when I went to leave, which was a little strange. They don't really understand the concept of like fire hazard and locking people in spaces here.
Right.
You would never do that in the United States, so it's kind of strange. But anyways, they don't normally lock the doors. Like, it's not that kind of place. Like during the day, lock you in. And but anyways, he was in there and they were doing their thing, and it seemed pretty normal. But I just was talking to my dad and making sure that he, had it gotten dark and still been out, he had a way to see and get around besides just his phone, because his phone can be confusing for him. And so he had he had one of those giant weapon flashlights, Excellent. And it's good. And he knew right where it was, actually. So that was cool.
Oh, that's nice to know. Okay, so dad was prepped pretty well too.
And he also had food that was, crappy pre-prepared stuff that he didn't have to, that he could eat if they couldn't cook for them or something like that.
That's nice to know. So the care home, the assisted living kicked in pretty well.
Yeah, they did great. And then they sent an email out after, like, I think it was the next day, saying, everything's good. There was no incidents. Like, everybody was fine, which was nice as well, if I weren't able to actually get there, get a hold of them or something. So they're great.
Really good to know. That's excellent. So a couple more things. I want to know how things are generally for you and the work you're doing at Boots on the Ground Portugal, or pt.com. But before we go there, some very exciting news. Yes. Mexican food. Now, you asked me before we went on air, do I eat Mexican food? Do I like Mexican food? I'll be honest, I have a similar view to Billy Connolly, the Scottish comedian, who you saw that, didn't you?
That's what you sent me, right?
Yeah, he says, you ever eat Mexican food? It's the weirdest food in the world. No matter what you order, it's always insane when it arrives. Only difference is how it's folded. Now, my experience of Mexican food is a bit like that, and I have enjoyed it. But when I talk to American friends about Mexican food, it's like, I mentioned this news because you said to me before this restaurant is opening up. Yes. And I said, there's a Mexican opening up in Leria. You'll be pleased to hear. And they always say, well, we'll be the judge of that. And it's like, American people are very fussy about Mexican food, aren't they?
We are. And I've lived, the last 30 years in Arizona, which is obviously borders Mexico and is very Hispanic and heavy Mexican food and Tex-Mex, and all of that. And so I would say I'm a decent judge of Mexican food myself. And it's exciting. First of all, it's exciting to have anything with real spice because it's Portugal.
Yes, and despite Portuguese people often saying when you go to the churrasqueira to have your grilled chicken, be careful. Do you want it picant? It's very hot. It's actually, to a lot of palates, it's not, is it?
Well, yeah, piri can be hot, but I don't know why. Like, Portuguese food, just straight out how it comes, is light on salt, and which is weird because the bacalhau is like crazy heavy on salt. Yeah. So I don't quite understand how their palates work with that. And then it's a very neutral sort of flavor. It's good, but it's more like you're gonna taste the natural meat or whatever it is. Whereas I like a lot of ethnic food and spice and things like that, But the great thing with Mexican food when it's done right is that you can get the whole range. You can have zero spice, all the way up to like burning your mouth and
chili spice,
like your nose is running and that sort of thing.
And you're wishing you hadn't done that. Yeah, and you're crying and everything. Yeah.
You could, but or just that perfect balance where like your nose is running just a little, but like your mouth is a little bit on fire, but just barely, and like it actually really works for you. So
I get it. It's like sort of pain and pleasure on the threshold, isn't it?
Right. So I referred my client, Kelly, and her husband, Randy. I referred them to the chili experience.
Oh, excellent.
Which, the chili experience.
Yeah, Alan, isn't it?
Yes. And so they're lovely people, and you can buy their stuff online, which must be, I don't know, chiliexperience.pt or
if you
something
put chili
like
experience
that. It'll Google up. Anyways, I referred her over there for spices, which is lovely spice mixes and peppers and all that kind of stuff, and other products. I think UK products, some American products, things like that. And so anyways, so that's great. She got that hookup. And then, they just opened Pico de Gallo. There's the chili experience.
Okay, so that's the chili experience. And we'll put the link to them into the chat as well.
Sure.
Or on the screen so you can see that. So that's a chili experience. That's very good. But back to the name of the restaurant again. What was it?
So it's Pico de Gallo.
Okay,
so PICO space DE space GALLO. There you go. And Pico de Gallo in Leiria is open, and it
already
is
open.
Legit.
It has opened.
It has opened.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they just had their opening like a week or so ago. Yeah, so they are open, and I want to go again. Let's go. They have chimichangas.
How was it?
It's delicious. Okay. Yes. I have not seen chimichangas anywhere here. And that's a version of the burrito, but it's actually deep fried. But of course they have they have fish tacos and carnitas and legit guacamole. It's not like pureed.
What about the salsa? What about, because I think that's the benchmark of many Mexicans.
It is. The chips and salsa. Delicious. It's just I really like it. And it is, chips and salsa are very much a hallmark for me. And really homemade, legit food and from really good people. I can tell you that. And it's exciting.
Well, congratulations. And good luck to Kelly and Randy at Pico de Gallo in Leiria, new Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Maybe we'll have a trip over. Maybe we should have a mini bus.
I think we need to do that. I have a few people, and I think it'd be fun. And I really want to see what you think of the way that she folds her Mexican stuff.
Oh, now that's very intriguing. Okay, all right.
No, but it would be fun to go in a group because then you could get several different things too. And
people could say, you should try this, you should try this. Very, very good. Okay, so just finally, we've got Simone Acosta waiting to speak to us about the integration myth, which is a subject I'm really keen. We chanced upon it yesterday when we had our post-Apagão Power Cut meeting in San Martino de Porto. And it addresses this whole thing about how, with the best of intentions, when you arrive in Portugal, I'm going to become completely integrated. We're going to be talking about that and the integration myth as a separate segment. So watch out for that on the YouTube channel. Before you go, how are things? How's business? Presumably lots of interest still in Portugal, and it's keeping you up late at night.
It is. Yes. We're quite busy, and that's good. So we're just plugging away and keeping up to date with the changes as they come down the pike. They're coming down the pike faster and more furious all the time. There was just something put out about changes in renewals and AMA appointments. And so I haven't even had time to digest that because it came out on Monday.
Right.
So I know I read an article briefly, but I haven't had time to actually absorb what that means for those specific things. Of course, my focus is on getting the initial visa to make the move. But of course, we have lots of clients that are in the renewal sphere as well, and want to be of help to them as well. So
brilliant. Well, keep up the great work. If you want Heather's help with these matters, go to bootsonthegroundpt.com, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you for the heads up on the Mexican, and thank you for letting us know what you learned from the recent Portugal, the outage, the power cut here in Portugal. Cheers, Heather. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, hold on a minute. I just need to play the outro there.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings a bell and